Hey everybody, it's Jimmy Grappone here with the CLT Life. I'm in downtown Waxhaw today. We're going to take a walking tour around Waxhaw. My goal is to show you what the downtown Waxhaw area is all about, what it looks like, highlight a bunch of local businesses so you'll know when this is to check out. So we're on North Broome Street, which is actually Route 16, also known as Providence Road. You'll know you're in Waxhaw when you see the famous iconic Waxhaw water tank. We're in the parking lot right here with Trax Stop and Shop. So they actually serve pretty good food in there as well. We got floor decor and more. Design studio. It's where my wife and I actually got new floors put in. We use them. Pure CBD, so Waxhaw's own CBD shop. And Broome Street Burgers. So if you're looking for a delicious burger, they have great salads here as well. So the same family that owns Broome Street Burgers also owns a restaurant in Monroe on Franklin Street Deli, I think it's called. So over there in the distance, those brick buildings that you see, those are the Ardmore Apartments. There are over 200 apartment units in that building. And we've got the Waxhaw laundromat right there. And I'm right right next to the Waxhaw Tap House beer garden. So this is the only beer garden in town. You see they got all these picnic tables set up. They got a gravel lot. They play cornhole out here. They've got a stage, so they'll have live music here as well. Inside they've got over 25 local taps. So if you're into craft beer, this is the place to come, or one of the places to come in Waxhaw for that. So this is we're at the intersection of West Price and North Church Street. So this street going right to left is Church Street. So again, those are the Ardmore Apartments. If you go all the way to the end of this road on the left-hand side is Waxhaw Animal Hospital. So we're gonna head south, heading towards the town. This is cool. Let me show you the sign for Waxhaw Tap House. If you Google Waxhaw Tap House, a video I did with them about a year ago is one of the first things that comes up, where I interviewed a couple of the owners. So you'll learn a little bit more about Waxhaw Tap House if you watch that. But you see the Waxhaw Tap House beer garden. Such a cool concept, and it's really a great gathering place. Great place to hang out, whether or not you're into beer. All right, so we're coming up on McDonald Street right now. And that little greenhouse over there is the Duncan McDonald house. It's actually a historic house. And that's where the mayor of Waxhaw will generally spend his time, working in there. Once again, there's the iconic Waxhaw water tank. So when I first moved here, I wanted to call it the water tower. So there's a big, the Waxhaw water tower, or is it the Waxhaw water tank? And historically speaking, the name of it is actually the Waxhaw water tank. So that's what I call it now. And that is a tower. There's those legs, but it's basically a tank at the very top. And then this pipe that goes down into the ground. And where the water goes from there, I really couldn't tell you. So we're coming up now on this gravel lot. So when it's used for parking now, but when there's events, the town actually uses it for public events as well. So they'll have live music there starting pretty soon. This summer they'll have jamming on the tracks, and they'll have live music there as well. So Waxhaw is working on some road projects and things that make it more pedestrian friendly. They recently widened the street, and you'll see the cars that are parked on an angle, and they added this public parking here. They are going to be putting in a crosswalk right here, which there should be one already. And I just crossed the street, so I'm on the other side of Broome Street right now. So here we are in front of Crossroads Coffee House. So I'm actually drinking a salted caramel latte, iced salted caramel latte from Crossroads right now. Now we're heading south. So if you were in Charlotte and you headed south on Route 16 or Providence Road, this is the end of that road. So when you make it to the railroad tracks, that's the end of Providence Road, basically. If you turn left, south of the railroad tracks, it'll take you all the way to Monroe, North Carolina, which is the county seat for Union County. If you go to the right, it'll take you into South Carolina. All right, so now we're standing on East North Main Street. And here's one of the interesting things. You'll notice that Waxhaw, like on the North Main Street, has these really tall sidewalks. So the reason for these tall sidewalks is because when they were built about over 100 years ago, horses and buggies were still prevalent. So they had raised sidewalks so people could get out of their horse or out of their buggy. This is a historic building as well. They used a rare form of architecture where they have windows going up, going from the ground all the way up to the roof, 2 stories. It's a very unique architectural structure. So we've got Indigo Pearl, which is the leather shop, Welty's Antiques and More on Main. There's a small pop-up store in here as well that has some retail called 88A Boutique. So they've got some really cool fashion in there. And you'll notice again with the raised sidewalk, there's actually a project that's scheduled to start sometime in late summer or early fall of 2022. That's actually going to extend the side. They're going to tear the sidewalk up, extend it out into this area where there's parking spots right now. You're going to have very wide walkable sidewalks. You're going to have tables out here. And this is going to be a one-way street, so you can only come in one direction. All right, we've got a real estate company here, and then we've got Waxhaw Creamery. So Waxhaw Creamery is definitely my favorite place for local ice cream. They open up, today's Thursday, they open up at 1 o'clock. I'm sorry, today's Wednesday when I'm filming this. They open at 1 and there will be a line out the door. We've got Funky Monkey Home Furnishings. They've got some really cool knickknacks and just really cool items to purchase. Lots of cool pictures, furniture, chandeliers hanging up, all kinds of cool stuff in there. And you see those, you see the flags over there. So that's an American flag, obviously, and then a North Carolina flag and a POW flag. That's the Military Wall of Honor, and that is there to honor all those who have served in the United States military. And in past years, they've actually had 9/11 memorial ceremonies there. They may do that again. I'm not sure what the plan is. Here's Cork and Ale. So fine wine, craft beer, and bistro. So they also have a great selection of craft beers, local craft beers, and from all over. They've got a really cool little shaded patio right here. And I heard they just opened up a patio around back. And they're right next to Dream Chasers Brewery. So this is Waxhaw's award-winning brewery. Neil and Anita Gibbon are the owners. So this building used to be a fire station. And you'll see when I come around the side, you'll see these roll-up doors. So you got the big roll-up doors from when this was an actual firehouse. And you see these really wide streets. So what they're going to do with the sidewalk, basically where you can see right here, where there's parking right now, lines are painted, and then you can see around here where there's lines. They're going to extend this whole area so it just becomes a lot more pedestrian friendly and just a place where people can kind of hang out. So now we're going over the Town of Waxhaw overhead bridge. So this is a bridge it's a walking bridge that spans the CSX Railroad railroad tracks. People like to come here when the train's coming through and stand over top and let it rumble beneath them. It's pretty cool. It also offers a really cool view of the town. So when we look back to the west, look down the railroad tracks, and you really have a good vantage point of the town. Now, in this bridge, the original version of this bridge was actually for vehicles to drive over top of the railroad tracks. So think Model T cars. And these stairs were recently put in. So the steps used to come off to the other side. And the reason this was done is because the town of Waxhaw recently installed brand new sidewalks that connect downtown Waxhaw further to the east where there's more businesses. Now this building on my right is the home of the Waxhaw Women's Club. It was also the second ever location for Belk's department store. If you're familiar with Belk's was actually founded in Monroe, North Carolina, which is straight down this road I'm walking on right now. If I was in a car and continued driving straight for about 25 minutes, I would be in downtown Monroe. And we'd be able to see the original location of Belk's department store. That was in the early 1900s, and that building still exists. And it's still being used today. All right, so I'll show you across the street right here. We've got a couple businesses in this little house right here. We've got the Uptown Tea Shop, owned by Danny Noto. There's also an art gallery. It's the Eight Legs Gallery, Divine Custom Framing. So local artists actually are able to hang their artwork in there and sell it for commission. There's also pottery, the Art Box. Let's see the full name. Art Box Ceramics and Canvas. So that's owned by a local artist, Kristen Mitchell. And she actually shows people, or people can go in there and they can make their own pots. They can paint. She has classes during the summer. Summer camps are really popular. Zoom out a little here. Now this building straight ahead, you see the smokestack. So this used to be a cotton mill. So now it's the home of the Waxhaw location of Emmett's Social Table, which is the original location. There's also they have a location in Fort Mill as well. They also have Sweet Tea Boutique and the Parlor, a couple other businesses that are in there. They also have apartment buildings in there. And if we went past it, we'd actually get to Virtuoso Bakery, which is a great bakery in downtown Waxhaw as well. I'm not going to walk over there right now just because of the traffic. We also have these buildings over here at Millview. These other businesses, we've got Claudio's Watch Repair, Ciela Antique, Miracle Ear, Refresh, Waxhaw Boba Tea, Apex Business Consulting, the Waxhaw Green Room, and Pelican Snowballs. I'm actually going to cross the street here. We'll pause it and pick it back up. All right, we made it across the street. Oh, we also have Pinky Out Skate Company. It's a local skateboard shop in here. Waxhaw has its own skate park. The Vintage Room. Okay, I've not been in here yet. So this is no longer Waxhaw Game Room. It's actually the Vintage Room. So it looks like they have a lot of cool throwback stuff. I'm seeing a lot of memorabilia from the 80s and 90s here. Very cool. And we've got Pelican snowballs. So they do original New Orleans shaved ice, and this is their list of flavors. On a hot summer day, this too has a line extending out that window. All right, we are on the same side of the road now as Eight Legs Gallery and the Uptown Tea Shop. That's a really cool place. I should do a video on that on its own. Ooh, high tea now being offered at Uptown Tea Shop. So my wife and mother-in-law actually just had high tea recently in Ballantyne at the Ballantyne Hotel. So it's very cool that we have that option right here in Waxhaw. So if you live in the Waxhaw area or you're visiting Waxhaw and you want to have high tea, check out the Uptown Tea Shop. So I'm filming this on a Wednesday morning around 10:30 in the morning in May of 2022. Again, here's the Waxhaw Women's Club. Bernie's Bakery. So over here we got Bernie's Bakery, so Bernie's Sweets and More, Juice Up, and another local real estate team over here. Maxwell's Tavern. If you want to eat here, generally speaking, and you don't want to wait in line, you got to get here about 4:30. My family and I ate here last Friday, and we were here at 4:30. We were the first in line, and 10 minutes later, it was completely sold. All right, so we got the art gallery right here. Mona, make old new again. Custom furniture, design services, and farm tables. Cigar FD Company, so that is a cigar and whiskey bar that's in here. That's owned by the former owners of Provisions, which has been sold. Blood Law, so that's a law firm owned by Anna Blood. A jewelry repair store, the Bead Merchants. And another real estate company on the corner here. Down on the corner, here's these businesses here are located right around the corner in an old mercantile building. And now we're crossing over we're on South Main Street, so now we're on the west side of South Main. So if you were to go straight, it would take you into South Carolina. So here we have the Waxhaw Antique Mart. So you can get some really neat things in there. The Bean and Bell Art Studio. And you'll see some alfresco dining on this street right here. So here's Provisions Waxhaw. They serve breakfast and lunch. They have a great, delicious menu. You can also buy they have a local company, a coffee company that's in there as well. And you can just buy a lot of local stuff. Capricci's True Italian. So this is owned by the same person that owns the Blue Door Deli, also in town. Sassy and Classy Boutique. And the Waxhaw Candle Company. where you can actually go in and you can make your own candles. Over here in this little plaza across the street, you've got the Cupcake Queen, which is a local dessertery. They do cupcakes and cakes. Down in the distance there, you can see the Waxhaw skate park. There's also a playground over there. And behind it is the future location of Waxhaw's downtown park, which we're very excited about. There's also the used bookstore, Fusion Hair Design, and Greco Fresh Grill. The meeting place, this is a historic Waxhaw building. And you can see they're starting to do some construction over here at the entrance to the park. So we'll cross the street right here. And let's return this way. Now if we went in the other direction, there's another restaurant a few blocks down called 701 Main. It's another large restaurant. Here's a historical marker. The site of the former Waxhaw train depot and cotton platform. Georgia, Carolina and Northern Railroad. The first train arrived on April 1st, 1888. The town of Waxhaw was incorporated March 7th, 1889. Town limits should extend 1/2 mile in each direction away from the depot. Here's a little Waxhaw history for you. The red building over there, that's the Waxhaw Tack Exchange. So there's a lot of horse farms in the Waxhaw community, Waxhaw area. So a lot of your horse owners will go there for their tack, which is their supplies for the horses. All right, we're now north of the railroad tracks. Over here, we've got Tangles Knitting on Main. So they've got knitting supplies, yarn, needles, crochet supplies, hooks. You can actually go in there and you can knit while you're in there. So they got a knitting room in the front, but you can also get your supplies there. Right next to it is Blue Door Deli. So they do breakfast, lunch, and dinner, salads, sandwiches, and paninis. They do catering meals to go as well. And the same owner that owns Capricci's True Italian, which we just saw, owns Blue Door Deli. So we've got Noma Hair and Skin Studio down here on the end. Got a tractor going down Main Street. And then over here, this building, both sides of this is going to be Jekyll and Hyde. It's a steampunk themed bar and restaurant. So they have a couple of locations in the area. Other small towns, Belmont, North Carolina, and Matthews, North Carolina. We love dogs in Waxhaw too, even though that one just scared the crap out of me. All right, we're coming up towards the end of our tour here. We've got the Bike Depot, which is a full-service bicycle shop. They sell bicycles, they do repairs. It's also a meeting place for local cyclists. If you come here on the weekends, you'll see pelotons of people in large cycling groups. Got an insurance company over here right next to Broom Barbershop. That's named because right up here, Providence Road, Route 16 is actually called Broom Street down here in Waxhaw. And then finally, we've got Mary O'Neill's Irish Pub, established in 2017. This is an authentic Irish pub. You got Lee and Kieran running the show from Ireland themselves. So, great place. They've got a really good dish that you'll find nowhere else. It's called the Reuben roll. They were making so many Reubens, they had parts that they couldn't use in the Reuben sandwich that they were discarding. And they came up with the idea of combining it into an egg roll, and they serve it with this remoulade sauce. It is truly delicious. So folks, thanks so much for spending a little bit of time and taking a walk with me around Waxhaw, North Carolina. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned a little bit, and we'll see you on the next video.